Good evening, welcome to the Goffstown Sewer Commission. This is our our monthly meeting. We will start with a roll call, beginning with the Selectmen's rep.
Jim Craig, Selectman's rep.
Michael Trank, consulting engineer.
Daniel Taylor, Commissioner.
Tim Redmond, Commissioner.
Dave Pierce, Commissioner.
Lee Pooler, Sewer Secretary.
Keith Canton, Assistant Sewer Foreman.
Corey White, Sewer Superintendent.
Thank you everyone for being here. We'll start with public comment. And seeing we don't have anyone here in the public tonight, we will close, we will have no public comment. Minutes of December 10th.
Mr. Chair, I've just read the minutes, and they appear to be accurate, so I make a motion to approve them.
I will second the motion.
Motion made to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstention, motion passes. We have a couple of quick new business items. The vacation carryover, it's a memorandum from the Finance Department. I was actually keeping in touch with Corey about this as he was finishing his year. He told us at a meeting he was going to try to use up all of his vacation, but as I was apprised of, there was several overtimes and emergencies that he had to come in on, so he was unable to use all of the vacation time that he needed to use up before the end of the year, which left him with 14 hours. So we need to make a decision tonight about the 14 hours that Corey was unable to use, so we'll start with that.
Then I'll start this saying I would motion to approve the 14 hours of carryover for Corey.
Thank you, Dave. Daniel?
I'll second the motion.
Daniel Taylor seconded. So the motion is to allow Corey to carry over the 14 hours. He actually has been deducted from when I checked with finance, so they're going to reinstate the 14 hours back to his paycheck after the motion is decided tonight. So all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. The next is declaration of emergency policies. I would like everyone to decide this at our next monthly meeting, unless we can do it quickly tonight. I tried to get in touch with Public Works Director to find out how he does it as a department head, whether he empowers his foreman to decide overtime as needed, or if it all has to go through him, as stated by the policy of the town. However, we are not the town, we are our own commission, so we don't necessarily have to do what the town says, but it would be nice to be in line with the town's policies. So if the other two commissioners wouldn't mind, I'd like to wait for an answer from the Public Works Director on their policies, which I can advise us of at our next meeting, and then we can make a decision on that at a meeting, if that would be okay with the other commissioners. We can have a discussion as well right now. Dave, so.
No, I just, is it possible that a commissioner would be involved when the superintendent is presented with a situation?
I'd like to, I personally would like to see him, with our blessing, official blessing, him to be able to decide about the overtime.
That would be a simpler way.
That would be the intelligent way. But I wanted to find out what the actual procedure was at Public Works before we made a formal decision. Corey, did you want to say something?
I don't know if we got any clarity over where declaration of emergency. I guess I don't really understand what she's saying, declaring an emergency.
Okay, I will ask that question as well when I
She
get.
is willing, if you need her to come to the next meeting, she is willing to come in.
We don't need, we
Speak
don't,
to it if you
no, we
want.
don't need to have that. We
Okay.
will talk to other department heads and we will make a decision.
Okay.
If I have any questions after I speak with the Public Works Director, I will contact Danielle myself.
Well, Corey, does it amount to a third party being aware of the situation rather than you self-imposing that you have an emergency?
Well, the way it works now is Keith and I split the on-call. I'm on a week, he's on a week. If a call comes in, it's either from the police department customer or pump station goes down on those lines. So we're always getting a phone call to go and deal with the problem.
So
Which
it's
needs
not,
to be dealt with immediately.
Exactly.
so it's not you out of the blue saying, I think I'm gonna work overtime.
Exactly, it's not like that at all. I don't want to come in. I don't want to work overtime, so.
So emergencies or anything that you're called in
Yes, if it's,
outside of your regular hours?
exactly. So if you get a phone call, say a customer is saying that their line is backing up into their house, you get up and go as quickly as you can so you can open up the street and make sure that the sewer main itself isn't backed up. So you gotta get up and go, and if a pump station goes down, there's no off and wastewater. So if the pumps aren't working, that means it's just filling.
I think what she was questioning is if, say you're leaving here at 10 after, whatever, you get out, and then there's an emergency, and you go and it takes you like 20 minutes, you get the automatic 3 or 4 hours.
3
I think
hours.
that's what she's questioning.
Well, I don't think that's for her to question, because that's our policy. And I will talk with the commissioners, and we will come up with a specific policy, state the use and the use of the policy, and we'll be done with it.
For me?
Thank you. Because I answered that question already to her and called Corey about it.
Okay. Because, I was just asking, trying to get some
I
clarification
stood in
on
her
it.
office and called Corey
Okay.
about it when we talked about that.
Yeah, it's the only
Res-
reason I was trying to get clarification
Resolution in the
myself.
next board then.
So resolution at our next meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
And do we have any written policy for ourselves?
If not, we'll create one, I think.
Okay.
I think we should create one if we don't have one. Maybe I can get a template from DPW on what their written policy may be, and we can look at that and come up with something based off of what they do. So this last one is the holiday time for a 10-hour schedule. Corey, could you explain what this is about? Do you know what this is about?
Yes.
Could you give us a brief overview of that?
So, the issue we ran into was when it fell on a holiday, I was under the assumption that it was an 8-hour day. So even if we're working a 10-hour day work week, so we would take only 8 hours for a holiday and then work the 4 remaining days at 8 hours a day, 8 hours to make the 40 hours. Because we switched over to a 10-hour schedule, the holiday is 10 hours, not 8 hours. So she just wanted to, when I did Christmas and New Year's, those 2 weeks were weird, and she caught it because I was only putting in 8 hours for holiday after we had already voted to go to the 10-hour days. So now she's just looking for,
Do any questions for Corey about his explanation from either of you guys?
I wrote out if you want, a way to word it for a motion.
So what we're looking at is, if you're on a 10-hour schedule and you have a holiday within your 10-hour schedule, you would work 30 hours and you would get 10 hours of holiday pay.
Correct.
For a 40-hour week.
correct.
Um,
No, you would work 40 hours and get the 10 hours.
You get 10 hours
I don't
holiday
want to
pay.
be the fly in the ointment here, but when I worked at the town of Bedford, I believe, we were paid an 8-hour holiday and we had to supplement it with 2 hours of our own time to create a 10-hour day, because the union contract stated that it was 8-hour holiday.
Yeah, and in this, Danielle clarified, because I was with DPW in that union schedule with that, and with their 10-hour days, she said because they only do it, it was part of the union and their bargaining agreement, they get 8 hours. And then, because we're non-union and we come before you guys, you decide whether the holiday is a 10-hour holiday or you keep it an 8-hour holiday, and we figure it out.
Are there non-union DPW employees
They still follow the
that do
same,
10-hour shifts?
I don't believe the
not
non-union-
year-round, no.
What about,
Half the year they do, but they still follow the same as the bargaining agreement does in the shop, because you have to be there at the same time that the rest of your guys are.
You know, it's not really a big deal as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, how do you feel, Dave and
It's
Daniel?
not.
No, it's not a big deal.
So shall we conclude that, just talking before a motion is stated, shall we conclude that we concur that we would have a put 10-hour holiday in for their 10-hour work schedule for the holidays that come up while under their time?
Yes.
I see no problem.
Okay, so if there's a motion that you would like
Yes,
to
the
make.
motion is authorize holidays to be paid for the number of hours normally scheduled for that work week or work
For the
day?
Work day.
Work day,
for normally scheduled work day, so it'd be the same.
paid for the number of hours as normally scheduled work day.
Okay, motion been made to allow a 10-hour holiday for the 10-hour work week schedule, day by Dave.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Daniel. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Let's look at the sewer contract for St. A's quickly. Dave, did you have a chance to review the amendments, and do you understand what they're doing here?
There's two ways to skin the cat, and they just changed the words to be a different way. They're expressing the same end result. Unfortunately, okay, you're looking at
So
the amended.
let's look at the one that has two lines amended first, the page that has the two
Yes.
amended lines.
So, in the very last whereas situation, he added the phrase, "and this amount will remain in effect until the parties renegotiate a new deal," as described in, it should be section,
Section 2 of the term?
well, it makes no difference. Section, see, the old one referred to the text that's in paragraph 3.
Oh, it's actually is 3 and not a 2, because 2 was by January 31st.
So that to me is just a pen correction that you could make on the form that's already been signed, just crossing 2 to be a 3.
Why don't we have Lynn advise them to provide us with an amended page that has the correct one in there without amending it with a pen stroke?
That's good, because I have a second correction. that's
Okay, go ahead.
necessary.
So the
Then-
one below it.
Okay, now, he added Bowleg's paragraph 1, and all of, and then the other numbers bounced down.
That's why it's
That's why
section
it's-
2
yeah.
of the terms, because
Yes.
1 was January 31st and 2 was every 4 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
And now, so that's a good sentence. All it does is replace something that was on the backside. And you turn that page over, and you can see that administratively, he went from A, B to D. So the D now has to be a C.
Okay.
Oh, I missed that.
He took what was Bowleg's C and moved it up to be its own.
So do you, is everything on that agreeable to what you
Yes,
remember, how you wrote
I
it?
checked out the lot numbers still compare with what they
Okay.
should be.
So that's the first page. What about the second contract sent to St. A's for revision?
No, we were just comparing, they're the same.
What's this?
That was the original, that's one we sent to them that you had signed.
Oh, so this is nothing we have to agree on?
No, I was just showing you what the old one was versus the new one.
You can see
I got it.
the wording
I got it.
changed now.
So
So
Danielle,
I'm happy with this, there's just those two administrative numbers.
Lynn, would you please contact them and change that section 2 to section 3?
Mm-hmm.
And change this, on the backside, Bowleg's D should be a Bowleg C?
Mm-hmm.
And ask them to resubmit that to us?
Could Lynn just type a clean one for you to come in tomorrow and sign?
Yeah, once they agree that, because we're making a change to their terms also.
He's expecting me to email him tomorrow, so I'll
Okay.
email him.
Yeah, and then I'll just come down and sign it,
Yeah.
once we get a clean copy with the corrections, clean.
Yeah,
I don't want to do any scratch outs
Yeah.
and initials.
yeah, okay,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
So we all concur on that. We don't need to have a motion or anything.
Well, and you think, do we need a motion for you to sign it again?
No, it's already, well, we could make a motion, Dave, to sign with the amendments, if you wouldn't mind, so that it would be
Yes.
legal.
Yeah.
Motion that the revised agreement with St. Anselm's College that is before us this evening is satisfactory, and
Authorize the chair.
authorize the chair to sign it when it's been retyped according to
Can I just,
two administrative corrections we just discussed.
can I just make that a little shorter and say motion to authorize the chair to, to sign the amended
You-
St. A's
You
contract?
understand, yes, the
Thank
intent of
you.
what I'm trying to express. Yes, Lynn.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
I'll,
go ahead, Daniel.
I'll second that motion.
So there's a motion to authorize the chair to sign the revised contract. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. We did the warrants, the warrant has to come back to Daniel. Did you see the warrants yet,
No,
Daniel?
not yet.
Okay. Corey, do you have anything for us tonight before I ask Mike to speak?
I do, I just wanted to talk with you guys and see, I kind of mentioned it to you, but
Yeah, and I think I brought it up at the last meeting that you were going to have a more in-depth conversation.
I'd like to kind of get ordering our replacement truck as soon as possible. March, after all the towns vote, go through, you end up getting on a list, and I'd like to get ahead of that list and get approval from you guys to order the truck soon and not wait till the town vote.
Do we have any legal problems doing that, Dave, if we were to order a truck prior to the authorization at town meeting to buy it? I don't think we've really, even if we had a
You-
default budget, again, we could still authorize the purchase of a vehicle.
Exactly.
That's true. And, whether, if there's a necessity of expressing to the company we're buying it from that this is pending a review or, you know, that it could be influenced by the town vote.
I just didn't want to give, I didn't give Corey the permission to do anything, it's a commissioner's decision, obviously. Daniel, do you want to add in anything on this?
Have we decided that we're getting a new truck?
Yeah, we put it into CIP this year. Are you going to buy, or are you recommending the vehicle that was discussed at town, at our discussions here, or are you recommended a different vehicle?
I'm recommending a different vehicle, which I have
Which would be cost more or cost less?
less.
And could you make that explanation to the commissioners now, because we already had a discussion on what you wanted and what we authorized, now it's time to amend that.
So, we first talked about getting a cabin chassis truck with a utility body. And looking at the vehicles we already have and what we carry and what we need, it's overkill. We don't need that. So, I was proposing to buy a Ford pickup. It's in the state bid contract, which I have here. McFarland Ford holds a contract, a four-wheel drive pickup with a plow, and what we usually would set the truck up with.
Now, would you buy a diesel or a gas, Corey?
Gas, no diesel.
And then you talked about getting a Tommy gate at one point. What was your plan for that part of it?
What we'd like to do is put a Tommy gate on the Dodge,
Okay, the older vehicle.
the older vehicle.
Now, what type of Ford pickup, what are we looking at? A single cab, dual cab? What are you talking
It's
about?
what do they call it, a club cab?
Club cab, it's a cab and a half.
Cab and a half. Not a full four-door?
No, we don't need a crew cab.
And 6 or 8 foot body?
It's a 6'7".
Yes, it's,
Okay, but it's not an 8 foot body?
No.
no.
So
I did a little,
the crew seat is like my Ford Ranger, where if you were to seat in the backyard, your
Yes.
knees are up like this.
Yeah, it just gives you a place to store dry set of
But
clothes and
it
boots. and-
affords you a little space to put something securely behind your seat, really.
Do you need a toolbox or anything?
So we would want to get, same thing we would have done with the other thing was a back rack, you know, lighting, safety lighting, toolbox, lights.
Now, is Hillsborough Ford out of the state bid loop for you?
So if you look at the state bid and what Hillsborough offers, it's all two-wheel drive trucks.
Okay.
McFarland Ford has all of four-wheel drives. You can get cab and chassis four-wheel drive through Hillsborough, but they don't have any standard.
I only asked because you said you wanted to get a Boss plow, and I took the liberty of checking with Danny down at the Boss dealer in Ware, and he told me that he cannot compete with Hillsborough Ford on putting a new plow on a new truck. They will smoke him on the price of a new plow installed, so maybe you could see if McFarland is a Boss dealer.
And I can reach out to Hillsborough Ford too and see if it matters.
I don't think it would matter, because you gotta get the plow from the dealer you buy the truck from for service purposes, right?
We went with a different company when we put the plow on that Dodge.
Because it was a used vehicle, it
Yeah.
wasn't part of the state bid.
Yep.
I'll let you work that out.
The premise is this, a lot of communities in New Hampshire, soon after March, they all go out and buy a truck.
That's
And
right.
we would like to get 1 month ahead of all that. And
Exactly.
We have the flexibility to do that, so.
I think we do.
It's a good deal.
I think we'd be within our authority, our legal authority, to order a vehicle ahead of the vote, because even if the vote was a vote to have another default budget, it doesn't mean that some of the CIP stuff doesn't go through on the town side. It's a CIP project. So I think we would be able to do that, because, see, the town can't really do it because they don't have the money to pay for it until the taxes are approved. Whereas we have our reserve funds, and that's where we would pay for it, out of our reserve funds. So,
Just make sure you talk to finance and do
Oh, yeah,
everything the
absolutely.
right way.
Yeah, they outline everything you need, so I have
Okay.
to talk to finance anyways.
Okay.
and if it becomes problematic, you'll have to either talk them off the ledge or wait. It's up to you.
So this is a purchase of Ford, four-wheel drive
Correct,
With a plow.
for the plow.
with a plow. You said,
State bid.
yeah, I'll stand it. So, motion. A motion to proceed, have superintendent proceed with a purchase of a Ford, four-wheel drive with a plow, against a state bid provider.
Second motion?
I think that squares it up.
Yep.
Motion's been made and seconded. Anybody have a discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Now, Corey, I wanted to get the commissioner's thoughts tonight on getting Mike to get a contract together for us for Cross Street. Could you bring that to the table tonight, please?
So in discussions with DPW, their road plan, when they're able to go out to the flats again, which is Cross Street, we did Albert Street last year, which connects, Louis Street connect on the other end.
You know where it is, you know
Yep.
Cross Street, you know, okay, good.
So the trunk line for drainage runs in Cross Street, and the trunk line for our sewer main is in Cross Street as well. So that would be the first street that they would want to tackle in that neighborhood. And trying to work together, we've kind of decided that when they're available to have the funds to get there, that's where they want to start.
So with that statement from Corey, I want the commissioners to discuss the consideration that we would have Mike prepare a contract for us to design the Cross Street sewer replacement, so that we would be ready to proceed if we are in conjunction with the town on their scheduling. Does that seem frugal to commissioners?
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
because if we don't do it this summer,
The design's
it still
still
needs
good,
to be
right.
ready.
But the point would be is that I don't want them to decide on their road plan and tell us at the last second, we're going to Cross Street, you need to do the sewer, and we're not ready to do it.
Yeah, they seem to be able to make decisions, or they often make decisions with much less lead time than we do.
Yes.
So if they decide to move forward, then we're behind the 8 ball if we haven't done anything yet.
So
Correct.
before we make a motion, Mike, is that going to be acceptable with you to get together with your design team and surveying group and try to get something done, at least get us some kind of an estimate for where we're going to go with the design?
Yeah.
Right. Do you think you could report back with preliminary numbers within 30 days?
I think so.
That would be nice, even though it may not be contractual within 30 days, at
Yeah.
least preliminary numbers.
Yeah.
And this way, we could possibly do a cost sharing on all the asphalt with the Public Works Department on this next project. That's the direction I would like to see us return to, which is what we unfortunately got out of this one time. And I'm feeling pretty good about getting back on track, because Corey's been working with DPW on their road plan schedule and trying to fit us in. And if they don't go back to the flats for 3 more years, we may just have to, as Corey suggested, I'll let you suggest what you want to do with Huggins, in the event that we don't replace the sewer on Higgins, rather.
Higgins.
You would suggest we clean it once a year or something?
I would suggest, right now, we're cleaning that neighborhood twice a year. So I would recommend we stay with that, clean it twice a year, just to be sure we're not gonna get any.
Or
Try to
at
avoid
least
backups.
once a year, right?
Yeah, it needs it twice a year.
Higgins?
Higgins, that whole neighborhood needs it twice a year.
Well, then I think we just up our cleaning game in the short term until we can go down there for a total replacement project.
Yeah, once in the spring, once in the fall, and it
It's-
seems to,
It's not a big deal.
it needs it.
Now, do you have any, since we don't have any projects actually on this plan for this summer, can you help us out with some either point repairs or lining projects so that we can redistribute the capital improvement money to some other projects this summer?
So, there is the point repair on Laurel Street that's gonna have to be done before Public Works does that street, because they're planning on doing Laurel, Ivy, and Wall. I had that cameraed, and the only issue we found in that neighborhood is on Laurel Street, where the manhole is actually settled. So, we're gonna need to change that manhole and about 25 feet of pipe on either side of it to get the dip out of it,
I don't think we need any design for that, it's just a repair in place, you know.
pretty much.
You know the deal.
Mhm.
How about where we had our backup last year that got into the basement?
So that's over on Warren Ave, and that would be roughly 85 feet of replacement.
All right, so could you get that on the block for us for discussion purposes? And then, is there any other point repairs, or is that it for point repairs at this time?
There's, as far as changing pipe out, those are probably be the two that are off the top of my head that we would tackle.
Do we have any slip lining that has neglected to be done at this point for infiltration purposes?
What we'd have to do first before we go online is re-camera stuff to see what kind of I&I we have.
All right, well, we can make an attempt to utilize our CIP money that we budgeted this year for work by doing some point repairs and some other things. We might even be able to use it for our design phase, for Mike's design team to design with.
And I was thinking as well, we can use some of that to resurface the parking area in Riverview Pump Station.
Okay. Well, why don't you put a list of projects together and present them at our next meeting? And hopefully we can come up with some kind of a budgetary number for this stuff. Maybe you could do some talking with a few of the contractors and see if anybody has any verbal ideas for repairs that we could bring as discussion numbers for budgeting purposes, and then we'll actually put the stuff out to bid when the time comes to put it out to bid.
Corey, just, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
85 feet of pipe on West Street.
Warren Ave.
Thank you.
So Mike, you'll be able to get us something for next month, hopefully,
Yeah.
regarding the cross.
What would be the extent of the replacement?
Starts with Louis, right?
It starts at Rochambeau, and it would go to Louis Street, that first section.
Okay.
And we've touched both of them. We've touched it in two places, so we tied Louis Street into it, and we
So-
touched it when we came down Albert Street.
So we're really only replacing one manhole,
Okay,
and I think it's
whatever many feet.
800 or
of pipe.
900 feet of pipe.
Is there a manhole at Rochambeau?
There is.
Wouldn't we wanna
It
repla-
turns.
Oh, what turns there?
It turns, yeah, because it comes down Rochambeau and then it turns and goes down Cross Street.
Would you wanna put a new manhole at Rochambeau?
Yes, that's what I would
And
replace that.
What
with.
size pipe is that, Corey?
I think it's 12-inch.
Does that go to a larger pipe downstream?
It's 12-inch all the way down.
Okay, so we
to-
can't talk about upgrading the pipe.
That section, no, unless we want to change it all the way to Roosevelt
No,
Street.
no, we don't,
It is a new manhole.
it isn't,
He's
I'm just
looking for
thinking of,
accessibility.
I'm just thinking about accessibility fees, that's all.
Always thinking.
The sides, like Higgins, that would be a perfect one to upsize that from 8
Well,
to
then maybe
10.
we can go in that direction when the time comes. Okay. Thank you, Corey. Anything else from the working side of the sewer department?
Other than Summit starting their project over there today.
So before I ask Mike to speak quickly, do we assess inspection fees out of a fund for these projects? I would like to have the commissioners discuss whether we should establish escrow accounts for these projects for inspection fees, because, you know, we give them a permit, and they pay a permit fee, and then we should provide all the inspection for nothing. And these guys spend hours out there, and they do overtime out there. So I think we should, for future projects, we should come up with an inspection fee schedule, and they should be establishing an escrow account for inspection fees, myself, I think. We do on the big project, right, Mike? Or not? Like Albert Street, did we have an inspection fee as part of the,
I don't believe there was an
Not that I
inspection fee in
recall.
there.
well, I think it's a discussion for future projects. And I'd like the guys to think about whether you think it's practical or impractical to assess.
Where in the discussion with town authorities do the developers learn there's a potential increased fee, like in this case for inspection whenever they're doing the sewer lines?
I think that was, Scott Ozana usually comes up with their
Escrow numbers?
Escrow numbers, yeah,
I have no idea how to do that.
No.
yeah.
We could establish a count, we could establish a fee schedule based on hourly times at the job site, and then it'd be to their benefit to do the job quicker and get it done and get out of there than to drag it on and have the inspectors keep coming back when there's no charge for the inspectors to come back.
Mm.
So I just think this is something we could talk about for another discussion, that's all.
Okay.
All right. So now, Mike, I'm going to ask you if you have anything for us tonight.
Not too much. I completed the paperwork that DES has been looking for on the sewer use ordinance and industrial pretreatment, and they sent a draft of the paperwork over to Corey, so I need to follow up. Will you be signing that certification?
I guess I'll have to look closer at it, I didn't see.
Okay. I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a certification that's included that has to be signed, so, but I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Other than that, it's really just doing probably some closeout paperwork for the other sewer
Good.
projects.
Well, we have a new project to start working on.
Yes.
Thank you. One last thing that just came to mind, Dave, you want to go ahead first?
No, you're probably going to mention it.
Well, no, finish it, because I have something completely off the wall.
Shock.
Mr. Chair, you were notified from Boston EPA.
Yes, I got that.
Is
And
that something that
I didn't
the
have the
commissioners have to tackle, or our superintendent tackles?
Boston EPA with the mercury in the water, the sewer water. Are we supposed to be investigating that?
I believe we
Yeah.
should. It behooves us to find the culprit.
So,
Yeah.
what
Can-
would the recommended course of action be?
In doing research on that, the biggest contributor to mercury is a dentist office, believe it or not.
Mhm.
So,
But
Yeah.
that St. A's was going
So-
over their numbers too.
which doesn't make sense because they don't have, there's no dental school.
Well,
in
you
St.
don't
A's,
know they
but-
have labs. If someone didn't dump
Oh.
mercury down the drain,
That's true.
you don't know.
But if you could stop by with the paperwork you got from with the mercury on it, from the two stations.
Yes, I'll make a copy and
Yeah,
bring it
I'd
to
like
your
to see
office.
that
Yeah.
too.
We may have to get you to get a consultant in, Mike, to
Yeah.
work us something up.
Yeah, and on a related note, Manchester has received a draft of their new discharge permit for the wastewater plant. And since Goffstown contributes to that, you're a co-permittee, so you'll be subject to the requirements of that.
All right, so, could you find out if someone is available to consult on that with us regarding mercury contamination? You know, make a few phone calls in the meantime, see if we can find someone who could step up to the plate when we need someone, so we don't have to go look 30 days from now, or whatever.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Dave, I forgot all that. I have that email from the city of Manchester, or the EPA, when I get back, I will try and forward that to you, Mike, the whole mess that I got from them. I'll forward it right to you. All right, my off-the-wall thing was, I've been trying to figure out how to get three-phase power down to the pump station at
Moose Club.
Moose Club Park. It doesn't seem feasible to repair lines all the way through the neighborhood cost effectively to get three-phase power down there. Do we put a three-phase generator in down there? We could put a three-phase generator in down there. But Corey seems to think there may be a wild shot that we could bring the three-phase power across the river, because there's three-phase power on the opposite side of the river, an overhead line.
So it'd be we'd be paying Eversource for one new tower on our side of the river?
It would cost us some money, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But we would have to bear the cost of that versus the cost of a generator, which is a lifetime of maintenance and diesel fuel and replacement, versus to pay the money one time, and once it's over there, Eversource owns it. Falls down, they fix it for free.
And bringing the power in that way, it cuts down on power loss at that station.
Right.
Because the way it runs through there now, it's all through people's yards and trees, and it's a nightmare.
Do you feel confident with trying to contact Eversource and try to get an engineer or a representative to come out and hear you out, and then they'll assign an engineer to the project?
Absolutely.
Okay, that'd be a good move in that direction.
I agree he needs to proceed.
I'd have to go down there and take a look, but what about neighbor complaints? And
There's already, the funny part of it, there's already a pole in the neighbor's yard, and it runs across the water right there.
oh,
What would stop them from putting a pole directly behind our pump station on our land?
Exactly.
And then we don't have to give them any easements or have any problems.
And I think we own the other side of the river as well, where the force main goes through.
So I would just say that it would be a good idea for Corey to possibly look into this for us and find out if we can get the ball rolling on that as well.
I agree.
sure.
Any other,
When we did Moose Club Park, we did look at the possibility of running three-phase power down the hill from, basically from South Mass.
it must have been cost ineffective,
Yeah, it was hugely expensive.
and now it's
At least
10 times
compared,
more.
and compared with the cost of, I mean, you can put in a variable frequency drive for $5,000 and do the same thing.
Well, I think we need to find a more permanent solution to the problem than what we have now. And then we'll deal with the generator in the building on that other
Yeah,
pump station at another time.
correct.
We'll deal with that another time. Okay. Anything else for the meeting tonight, everybody? We good?
Chair, motion to adjourn?
Motion been made to adjourn,
I'll second the motion.
seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you, GTV. We are adjourned.